All right, what is up, everyone? It is the Awesemo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. I'm Jake Hari here today by myself. No Steve just yet. Possibly gonna have him back on tomorrow. But we're just gonna go through really quick, break down the two games tonight. We've got a bigger slate Tuesday and Thursday. So probably just gonna do some messing around with Fantasy Cruncher, the lineup builder, and just kind of see how we can get a little bit different, as I always say, on these shorter slates. Power play stacking is going to be a thing. Maybe even playing a guy against your goalie. I don't know. I probably wouldn't want to play cash on this slate, but I don't really play much cash to start with. So there's really not a ton to talk about. There is really one matchup that I don't know exactly how it's going to go, and that's making this slate already tougher as a two-game slate. Talking about the Toronto-Calgary game, which we'll talk about first, but don't know how the lineups are going to, or how the lines are going to match up there, because Toronto is one of the teams that does hard match. That makes it really tough when you know that probably a line's going to see 10 plus minutes against another line, but you don't know which one it's going to be. So maybe we'll try to figure that out on stream. Osmo has his rankings up on the site right now. As you can see, those will be updated. My projections are up. We had the Spotlight Stacks article in that. I think I still had Bennett on the top line for Calgary. It will be Elias Lindholm, as you see right here. So that was one little change from this morning's skate. Scrolling through here, I don't really see a ton else that we're going to need to talk about as far as big changes. So not a ton of movement as far as lines go. This slate is pretty straightforward. I'm going to be doing probably a lot of Josh stacks, especially with the uncertainty in the Toronto game. It just makes so much sense to just onslaught teams and try to get the one that puts up 4 or 5 goals, if we even have one. So, filibustering, just kind of waiting for people to get in here. I don't think we're going to have a big crowd. Man, this NHL slate, or this NHL schedule, I should say, it's been pretty brutal to start the season. Like a lot of 3-game slates, some 4-game slates, like 6 gamers on Tuesday and Thursday. I don't understand. I don't know. I guess I always forget it before the season starts that the slate is it's like loaded in the back. It's, there's a lot of other sports going on. There's baseball, there's NFL, there's whatever, NBA starting up too. So I get it, it's a lot to compete with, but just would love to see some more balance on the NHL schedule. But then everything gets jammed in at the end too. So a lot of back-to-backs in the second half of the season, it seems like. Need to post this link in chat. There we go. Today's the 29th. Yeah. All right. All right, so let's just go through these games. I will mention the promo code Hit the Ice, free 1-week trial to any Osmo.com NHL package. You get my projections, you get the rankings from Osmo himself. Fantasy Cruncher is included. The lineup builder is included. The premium Slack chat is included as well. So lots of good stuff. Calgary one has been terrible, 5-5, but it's not even 100 minutes of ice time. This can't be anywhere near a stabilization point. Stabilization, easy for me to say. Point, right? 100 minutes? Like, how many minutes have they played? I guess I could look that up. I mean, if it's close to 100, you're getting to the point now where if you're bad in 100 minutes of ice time, like you may just be bad defensively at least. Let's see, how many minutes is it? Let's turn off notifications here. All right. Monahan, Gaudreau, Elias Lindholm. 93 minutes? Yeah, that's pretty wild how bad they are at even strength defensively. Like 22 high danger chances against per 60. That's like some of the worst numbers I've ever seen doing this for a couple of years now. Like, you don't usually see that with 93 minutes of ice time together. So yeah, they're probably not going to give up 20 plus high danger chances per 60, but it just appears, I mean, unless people are playing hurt or something, maybe, but man, that's really, really alarming at even strength. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a stabilization point, but definitely can say that they're going to be pretty bad defensively. So that's why the line matching matters so much. And then you've got 3M is their other line, the Backlund Kachuk for a league line. So it's just makes it really difficult because you want the line that's going to see Monahan and Gaudreau at even strength, and we don't know exactly who that's going to be. So I've talked to some other people, some people that are smarter than me, and they maybe have more of a hunch than I do. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Possibly the best and the worst defensive line in the NHL on the same team. Yeah, quite the difference between Backlund and Monahan lines there. So that's what makes the slate really frustrating. Besides the fact that it is 2 games and there's not a lot of options in the first place. So, and you won't know the line matching until like 2 minutes before lock. So if you're making one lineup and you want to pivot, if you see Kadri going up against Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm, then by all means. But for MME, I mean, MME a 2-game slate probably isn't the best idea anyways, but I'm doing it. I'm just going to run a bunch of 5-man stacks, power play stacks, 6-man stacks will get mixed in there as well. So should be a lot of fun. All right, that's enough. Just me rambling. So Flames, Maple Leafs, I've already talked about this one a little bit. 2.8 implied total for the Flames, 3.3 for the Leafs. Mike Smith going up against Frederik Andersen. Both of these goalies reasonably priced. I guess I probably shouldn't even talk about goalies on this slate. It's just whoever you can fit, correlate as always, but especially on a 2-game slate because I don't want to play skaters against my goalie if I don't have to. I mean, if it is necessary, if it makes it work and it's a cheap guy against the goalie, then sure. But I don't want to be playing multiple skaters against the goalie, so you kind of have to correlate. All right, so this one, alluded to it a couple times. Austin Matthews is out for 4 to 6 weeks, I believe. So that will put Tavares with Kapanen and Zach Hyman, as you see on the screen. Kadri, Marner, and Marleau is a line that has a huge sample from last year. I think around 300 minutes at even strength. They were good offensively for sure, but they were used as a shutdown line at home, and they have some pretty alarming numbers, expected goals, high danger chances, whatever you look at. They were really bad defensively, and when that's your shutdown line, and you know who they're going to get most games, then I would just target whoever the top line was going into Toronto against that team, and it was, we had some decent success there for a while. So this line is back together. Wouldn't expect them to be much better defensively. So the question is, who are they going to match? And right now, I would say still it's going to be Kadri against Monahan, Gaudreau, and Lindholm. So in that case, just hammering Calgary 1 here. Full power play correlation 2 doesn't hurt with Mark Giordano. So love Calgary 1 here. But again, you're probably not going to know how the matchups are going to go. Even if Calgary 1 does get Tavares, Kapanen, and Zach Hyman, you're still not worried about that line. So the Calgary side is pretty easy. Really like the top line. The second line is fine. But But as you can see, the correlation isn't really there. Power play 1 for Kachuk, power play 2 for Backlund, no power play time for Frolik. So you really need him to get it done at even strength, where right now I think they're going to have their hands full with Tavares, Kapanen, and Hyman. So I'm going to avoid that line for the most part, and most of my exposure will be on Calgary's top power play. Giordano's the guy I really, really want. If I can afford him, will be one of my highest exposed players. I think that's too cheap for him still, shooting a bunch, and just really good correlation to the top line. Hannafin's fine at 3,800. Other guy, I actually kind of like Travis Hamonic. He's blocking a bunch of shots. He is taking some shots as well, and he's 3,800. Probably won't see much ownership here, but pretty good block shots spot here for Hamonic. So some sneaky floor there for him, and maybe he bumps into an assist or two, and you get a big game out of a $3,800 defenseman that a lot of people won't have. Third line, Jankowski, Bennett, Neal. Actually not terrible. I like the Bennett Neal mini stack. And then probably want to go with Hannafin if you were doing that because of the power play 2 time that all three of those guys get. But yeah, Neal as a one-off would probably be the most interesting on the Calgary side. But him and Bennett are pretty cheap together, just 8,800 for a little dynamic duo there. And I will have a bunch of two-man tonight, so that's going to be one that I go to when I'm running like 5-2-1, like it's MLB season. How much salary do you think you will leave on the table tonight? I haven't run a ton of lineups yet. I was actually going to do that on the show and just do it with whoever's in here, but I don't know. I mean, on a 2-game slate, I don't see the pricing being too restrictive. So I'd say like $2,000, like 2,500 maybe if you're stacking like a third line here. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable leaving 2,000 on the table just looking at it. We'll make lineups once I'm done breaking down this huge slate. All right, so Kadri, Marlowe, and Marner is the line I do prefer. As a full stack, you've got two guys on the top power play with no Matthews there, Marner and Kadri, and then Marlowe gets power play 2 time. They have good offensive numbers, even strength. It should be a high-paced matchup against Monahan and Gaudreau. Should be a lot of shots and scoring chances both ways. So those are the two lines I really, really want. Tavares, Kapanen, and Hyman may be lower owned. I really don't care too much about ownership on a 2-gamer, but Hyman's not going to be owned really. He shouldn't be. He's 4,500. That's way too expensive for him. But this is on FanDuel. Man, I always do this. Kapanen is 5,400 on DraftKings. Hyman 4,100. So still not great for Hyman. He's kind of a plug as far as DFS goes, but yeah, I do really prefer that second Toronto line, Tavares, Kapanen, or the power play stack is viable here. But as you can see, it gets pretty expensive with a Leafs power play stack here. You're kind of, especially if you put in Riley, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Yeah, you can kind of do it, but you're going to have to get some Vancouver Canucks in there if you are going to a full power play 1 stack for Toronto. Riley is the guy I prefer, but 6,200. Giordano, 5,900. I prefer Giordano straight up, so I'm going to have a ton more of him. And then Gardner is the guy that I will drop down to in the event that I can't get to Morgan Riley. The rest of these guys on the Leafs, I'm not super interested in. So we can move it on. Let's go to the next game, I guess the last game, the Minnesota Wild and the Vancouver Canucks. Devin Dubnyk going up against Jacob Markstrom. Have to imagine Minnesota will be very popular here. They should be. I think they are my favorite onslaught spot. I really like that top unit for the top power play unit for Minnesota here. Vancouver's committing almost, or they've been shorthanded almost 4 times per game to start the season. And they're already a bad team at even strength. I really love the Stahl, Zucker, Niederreiter line at even strength. And then they're just, I think they're going to be on the power play a bunch, so hard not to use Minnesota with Markstrom in net. Koivu, Granlund, Parise. Parise's actually one of my favorite individual plays at 6,500, but he's not on that top power play. Still doesn't really worry me that much. If I'm onslaughting, I'm probably going to do something like this. I'd go like Zucker, Stahl. Just take all the best forwards. And you take Suter or you take Dumba, whatever you want to do. 5-man stack it. Get some exposure to both power plays, the top 6 for Minnesota, which is very good. Man, Greenway down at 2,500. He's actually somewhat interesting. He's coming off a hat trick in the AHL. They sent him down for, I think, 1 or 2 games. Got a hat trick. Came right back up. This line, the third line for Minnesota, actually doesn't look bad at all. And they're going to get some Vancouver depth, which is very bad. The Sutter line is actually pretty decent at slowing things down for the opposing top line. But Minnesota is the much better team at even strength. Now they were really bad on the road last year. I don't know if that's going to continue to hold up. I haven't looked at home road splits yet this year, but Coyle, Greenway, Eriksson, Ek. For a low own stack, I know ownership doesn't matter that much. You need to hit on the right plays. But 2 out of 3 of those guys or the full stack is actually a very interesting way to go and a way that's surely going to be different on a 2-gamer. So really I like Minnesota's top 9, I should say. The line I'm looking at for the Canucks is obviously Pettersson, Brock Besser, and Nikolai Goldobin. Not only are they priced down and they're going to get a somewhat soft matchup against the Wild. I don't know exactly how line matching is going to go here. I would think they're going to go Sutter against Koivu, Parise, Granlund. I just don't know which line they consider the top unit. So it could be Stahl, Zucker, Niederreiter. It doesn't really matter that much to me. Sutter's not super scary. They're just okay at slowing things down. So I'm not looking to play Sutter. I'm looking to play Besser, Pettersson, Goldobin. They had really good numbers against the Malkin Kessel line in the last game. They got beat 5-0, but if you look at the even strength numbers, I think they outshot them 16-5, outchanced them like 8-2, 2 high danger chances in there, and that was at even strength. So I swapped onto them once I saw that Pettersson and Besser were together a few hours before lock. But yeah, this looks like a line that can have success, especially at home where they get the benefit of last change. They're going to have some ownership. They're going to be the line that everyone goes to on Vancouver, but I don't really have any hot takes as far as Vancouver goes. I think just play the best plays. You can include Horvat in your power play 1 Vancouver stacks. Minnesota did commit a bunch of penalties on the road last year and had a very bad road penalty kill. Again, I don't know if that's going to hold up, but just throwing that out there, they really benefit from playing in the XL Energy Center. All right, defensemen here, Suter, Dumba, Spurgeon. I think I would rank them Dumba, then Suter, then Spurgeon. So I really, really do like Dumba. I wish he was on the top unit with Stahl, Niederreiter, Zucker, but man, he is a very, very fine option here. Shooting the puck just a ton, which is exactly what you want to see. He does have a really good shot. Sometimes he thinks he's Ovechkin on the power play, but no, he definitely has a good shot. It's not Ovechkin, even though he shoots it like him sometimes for some reason, just fires it away blindly. But that's good for DFS. Kind of frustrating to watch, especially if you don't have him. Who's the one forward on Vancouver you'd go to outside of the first line plus Horvat? I'd go to Horvat's line mate, Gaudette. He grades out pretty well for me, and he's 2,700. Osmo has him as a E value, so that's a little bit worrisome. Wild just moved from minus 135 to 175. Why? Oh, they probably thought that Staylock was going to start tonight. I think the Wild play tomorrow. So they must have, I know Dubnyk just got confirmed probably 20, 25 minutes ago. So that's probably why the line jumped for Minnesota. Just look at the forwards here. Look at the defensemen too. Like Suter, Dumba, Brodin, Spurgeon against Gudbranson, Hutton, Pouliot, and Troy Stecker, whatever. It's just a pretty big mismatch here. The Wild are a very solid team. The Canucks are not. But you know what you're getting into for ownership here. Everyone's going to be on the Wild, and rightfully so. They're cheap enough where you can afford them with Toronto or Calgary. So just play the best plays, but play them differently is what I would suggest. And by that, just different lineup construction. But yeah, Gaudette would be the guy. I kind of like him as a player, and he's 2,700. And playing with Horvat doesn't hurt at even strength. All right. So that's going to do it for the actual games part. Now the building lineups part is, I don't know, what should we do? There's a few of you in chat here. So what do you guys want me to do with the lineup builder here? Like Minnesota Josh stack. I started building that and then I X'd out of it, but like these are the forwards I want for the Minnesota Josh stack. You can get Dumba, Spurgeon, or Suter, whoever fits in there. Let's see what you can do. Kadri, no. How would you do this? Dubnyk, 8,100. All right. Who's the safest goalie? Goalie has been killing me. I don't know. The safe goalie, that's kind of an oxymoron. But, I think Dubnyk's probably the safest. I think the Wild should win that game. It's hockey. The safest goalie, yeah, it would probably be Dubnyk. But he's also probably going to see the least shot volume too. So low ceiling, I guess somewhat of a high floor. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't even want to get into the business of ranking goalies. I have my projections. That does include Vegas. So my goalie projections are weighted more towards Vegas and win equity and just trying to predict the number of shots, whether they get the saves. I do have some metrics like high danger save percentage that I factor in, but it's so tough to predict goalies, as you can probably see on Twitter. A lot of people tilt over goalies, and rightfully so. So just another case for multiple lineups, I suppose. Spread your goalie exposure around, because that's what I like to do. I think it's just much better to get exposure to a handful of goalies rather than going all in on one or two of them. Short slate's a little bit different, but I'm going to have exposure to all these goalies because I'm probably making like 50 lineups. So it's going to be 55 man, 5-man stacks or 6-man stacks, whatever I decide to do. Does FC not come with the hit the ice promo anymore? No, it should. C column. It should. If it doesn't work for you and you're on that promo, just hit me up on Twitter or something, or email our support team. Where's Homer been? He's been at a bachelor party. He's visiting some family too, so he's good. He's just doing some real life stuff. So goalie ownership for the field tonight. How does 40, 30, 15, 15 sound? Dubnyk, Anderson, Smith, Markstrom. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Dubnyk. Yeah, Dubnyk and Anderson for sure going to be the highest owned goalies. I would think you can fit them pretty easily. Then yeah, I think Smith probably next. He is a big name, or he's a name, and he's capable of huge performances. And he's a guy that sometimes when he gets peppered early, he just gets in a rhythm, and he's capable of the 40 save shutout. So probably going to get peppered in this game. Most opposing goalies do when they're going up against the Leafs. But yeah, so is Anderson too, I think. So yeah, I like both those goalies in that game. I like Dubnyk. I don't really like Markstrom. He might get under 10%, which on a 2-game slate, if you're going to be a quarter of the ownership of another goalie, there's merit in playing you. So that's why I will have some Markstrom exposure, just because I think it'd be dumb not to with a ton of lineups. First season trying hockey, DFS has turned hockey into one of my favorite sports to watch this year. Thanks for your input, J. Yeah, dude. That's how I got started watching hockey too. Started playing some DFS. I mean, I liked hockey, but I never had a real reason to watch it. And then I got into it in college a few years ago, and just haven't turned back. It's been my most profitable sport. So, yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. Quite the tilt though at times. Markstrom should get the shot volume too, though that Dubnyk probably won't for sure. Yeah. Dubnyk to have a big game tonight, I think you're gonna need to see him get a shutout, or like I don't think Dubnyk's got a great chance to be the highest scoring goalie. So if another goalie gets a shutout, or if Anderson or Smith goes nuts for 38 saves and 1 goal allowed, your Dubnyk lineups likely will be dead, because you really, really need a shutout in that case. Because he's probably not seeing, like if he sees 30 shots, I'd be very surprised. If he sees 24, I would be like, okay, that's about right. So you start giving up a goal or two there, you're in big trouble when the other 3 goalies have a higher ceiling than him for sure. Playing extremely light, love Markstrom in the single entry lineup I have. Yeah, especially if you're going with Vancouver 1. There's no wrong answer at goalie. There's no wrong answer really for anything on a 2-gamer. I don't know. Like, you can make a case for third lines. Tomorrow is going to be a different story because there are, I think, 10 or 11 games. So wouldn't want to dive that deep on that kind of slate. But yeah, 2-game slate, there's literally nothing besides double stacking a 4th line that I'd be like, man, that's a really stupid play. So what else should we do? We can stay on for a couple more minutes. I guess I could show you guys how to do oh, there we go. There's Fantasy Cruncher. This is the Osmo Fantasy Cruncher. Let's do a power play stack. We're going to do 3 uniques. We're going to, you know what, let's keep the defenseman in the flex position for a 2-gamer. We're going to put randomness up to 20%. We also have a showdown slate on, what day is that? Wednesday? Halloween. Yeah, that's what it is. There's 1 game. So I haven't decided yet what we're going to do for that. But I don't know. Do people even want to watch me break down 1 game? I don't think people want to watch me do that. So what we'll probably do is there'll just be an article and then Slack chat or Twitter if you're not in Slack. I don't know. If you're not in Slack, I don't know what you're doing, because there's literally a free trial. You could get in Slack right now with that promo code for a week. So just get in Slack and we can talk about showdown strategy. It doesn't really change that much for me, honestly, because you're still just playing the best plays, but trying to get a unique lineup construction. Centers get, or not centers, but skaters get points for face-offs won, but it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. You need goals and assists out of guys. Showdown seems to have interesting ownership games available. What do you mean? I don't understand. All right, let's do this quick. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, third line I think Ryan Reeves lineup won a Vegas showdown slate, and maybe it was the conference finals last year. I played all of them like an idiot. But yeah, they can, those showdown slates can get pretty wild. Fourth liner scores a goal, all of a sudden you're buried if you don't have them. Let's do 50 lineups. This is probably what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna basically do some power play stacking / even strength stacking. We're gonna use the Fantasy Cruncher projections. Can you guys see this? Yeah, you can see that whole thing. All right. So let's see what we got. We'll sort it by team, 6-player stacks. Oh, actually, I want to be able to look at, oh wait, we've got some of every team, don't we? For some reason, I thought there were 3 games on this slate just now. So Toronto's coming up. Fantasy Cruncher projections really like Toronto. It appears. See, I would get him out if that were me. But it's 2 games, so if Zach Hyman gets an assist or somehow gets one thrown off his skate by Tavares and in the net, then all the Zach Hyman people will win, and I will not. I mean, that looks about right. This lineup is probably, maybe this is something I would actually see myself playing a lot of. I like the Minnesota one, though. Oh, by the way, Elias Pettersson, he has just been nuts this year when he's played. I ran my projections today just to see, and I just included this year, so the numbers are kind of skewed. But I just wanted to see how players would fare if I only use this year's data, whatever, 10 to 12 games in. And man, it's kind of crazy. He came up as the highest projected skater for me on this slate based on everything I do. I just included nothing but 2018's numbers. And Pettersson, Besser, Goldobin, I'm pretty excited about tonight. So probably should have written them up in the Spotlight Stacks article, but they look, they had a really good game last time out at even strength, even though the results weren't there. But I hope that line sticks together, because Pettersson and Besser together can be pretty fun, I think, for us. So I'm jumping on them really early. I wish it wasn't a 2-game slate, because I don't want everyone to be on them. Been waiting to upgrade from my phone. Been profitable in 2018 building lineups by hand this way. Yeah, if you're profitable, keep doing what you're doing. How much is premium? I can look that up right here. So you go to join now. These are the premium packages. So yearly plus FC, monthly plus FC, weekly. Try out the free trial first, though. You don't have to. If you just want to buy it, feel free. But we do have a free trial going on. So promo code Hit the Ice. My projections you get. Osmo's rankings. Lineup Builder, Fantasy Cruncher is included for the trial. What else? Premium Slack. How could I forget that? That's my favorite thing. Always someone willing to talk sports in there. Yeah, we got a good group of people in the premium NHL chat. So I would suggest getting in that. Maybe learning a few things from Homercles, Vots, Chris Wassel. Yeah, or just if you want to tell me how bad my stacks were, you can do that too in premium Slack chat. All right. What else? Is there anything else we can do with? Oh, there's our public content schedule. Is there anything else we can do with good old Fantasy Cruncher here? I mean, there's a lot we can do, but let's make a rule. Actually, I don't know how much of you make rules, but let's stack our goalie with at least 4 players from the same team. So this way, we're gonna do a legit Josh stack. Yeah. Oh God, Kevin, why do you have to remind me? Let's do 47. Man, that was the Christian Fischer hat trick night, wasn't it? That was such a tilt, man. Oh, that was the worst. Went and watched that thing back. We just built the absolute nuts. I think it was Boston 1 with Arizona 2. The Christian Fischer hat trick would have been like would have been a good night, and I was on both of those. Play every handbolt lineup now. What's up, Earl? How you doing? Yeah, play every handbolt lineup that I make for you guys. I wonder how that cash one would have done the other night. I don't think it was going to do very well. All right, we're going to make a stacking rule here. Basically just going to include our goalie with our power play stack, which is what I would like to do. It doesn't always work out that way, but yeah. So basically, we've just got a bunch of 5-mans here. Oh, 3-man. Yeah. But now just the goalie is included, which is nice for correlation reasons. You don't have your other skater is obviously going to come from a team that your goalie's not going up against. So that's nice as well. Lindholm, I wouldn't really want as a one-off. Backlund's a fine one-off. But you could even do this. Go. PP unit. Nothing like a Tyler Mott one-off. Jeez. 38. I'd rather play Anderson right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't think the Leafs are anywhere near a lock to win this game. But that's just me. So it's a 2-game slate. You can, like I said, make a case for anything, but I just wanted to get some Fantasy Cruncher on there, maybe mess around with some hand building lineups, and we will have a much, much better slate tomorrow. Actually, let's look that up. Is it 10 or 11 games? Or maybe it's 12. 11. All right. So we got 11 games tomorrow. Looks like it's going to be very, very good. Hopefully a late night of sweating, but just seeing some teams on the schedule. Got the Wild on a back-to-back against the Oilers. Blue Jackets at home against the Red Wings. That's going to be a spot people are on. Bruins, Hurricanes. That's going to be a tough one. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that. But, how about the Hurricanes last night, by the way? Just a classic Hurricanes performance. 38 shots on goal at home. They get one measly goal out of it. It's just classic Canes. We thought they were different coming into the season. Maybe they will be, but I thought that was awfully funny after the fact, despite me having like 50% of my lineups being Kane stacks on that 4-game slate or whatever it was. So, promo code Hit the Ice, guys. Use it. Get in Slack. We'll chat about the slate. You can use it right now. Have access to all of our premium tools for NHL through the entire week. And there's good slates Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So I would suggest doing that. Get in the chat. Hit me up. Email customer support if you need any help getting set up. They can gladly help you. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Steve possibly going to be around tomorrow. If not, it's just going to be me. And we will break it down, make some lineups once again, do some fantasy cruncher, do everything that we normally do. So good luck, guys. Don't spend all your bankroll on the 2-game slate, but hopefully see you at the top.